construction operation. Keep your hands up. Construction. Okay, so just a few of you guys. Okay. How many of you guys are multifamily? So about passive investor or active, or is an LP, GP, passive, whatever, just in multifamily, some magnitude. Okay. How many of you guys in here would love to get into multifamily? One. Yeah. How many of you guys that are here today want to learn the ground up game in real estate? Raise your hands. I just like to get a feel of who I have in the audience. Now, last question, guys. How many of you guys here own a piece of real estate that's not your single family home that you personally live in, but it's a rental or an investment property of some sort? Thank you. That's okay. That's all right. Okay, it's about 50% of you guys. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. It's a good group. I was just in Oklahoma, we had about 10 group. Okay, so cool. So we got a good group here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do these randomly throughout the country. I was here, when was I here last? About 4 months ago? About 4 or 5 months ago? Seems like yesterday, but it was before my November event in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? So it had to have been like October, I think, that I was out, probably about 5 months ago. Those of you guys who don't know what I do ground up construction, and I invest in value add, and we pretty much have done almost everything that you can do in real estate in regards to the diversification of it. From Airbnb stuff, we've done single family rentals, we've done fix and flips, we've done ground up construction in the residential, we did ground up retail for years. I started in this game in 1999, was when I first bought my first rental, so a few years ago. And I was already in business since 1993. So I had this like a few years in business of like this roller coaster that I rode. And one of the things I learned during that roller coaster that I was riding was that business is very inconsistent. Okay. And my abilities were very inconsistent in early years, but as I got better at that business, I wasn't the variable of inconsistency. In fact, today it's been straight as what I've done, my consistency in everything that I do. Okay. And so one of the big things I want to talk to you guys about today, just before we get started, guys, is you guys are going to learn some really cool stuff in real estate today. And I know that one thing that I know is that you guys will leave here satisfied with the fact that you guys are going to leave with more than you guys bargained for when you guys walk through these doors. Just know this, okay? But the one thing that I didn't talk about much, and I talk about it because it's really the pinnacle piece to my entire success, is the lifestyle that you guys live. Success in business and real estate is a byproduct, guys. Everything else that you guys do in your life. So if you're here today and you're just getting started in the real estate game, the one thing that I encourage everybody in this audience to do is to take everything that you do into account. Because you guys ever heard the saying of how you do one thing is how you do everything? You guys ever heard that before?
Yes.
Okay, that stuff becomes just bullshit. It becomes cliche if you really don't understand and what it means and you don't implement it, okay? So if you guys follow me just a little bit, like if you guys follow me on Instagram, if you guys follow me on YouTube, if you guys follow me on any platform, one thing that you guys will learn about me is I'm very consistent in every friggin' thing I do in my life. Everything. Everything. It drives my wife crazy, but it makes my family better. Because I'm an addict of everything that I do in my lifestyle. Success in what we do here, I don't expect anything less. And I always tell people, I pray for health every day from God. I say, God, give me health. Because if God just keeps me healthy and I can remain healthy, I can do anything. And you guys should feel the exact same way. But the problem is most people live in discomfort and fear because we're raised in a system that sucks, guys. It was built by the Rockefellers. We're born in a capitalistic country. But yet immigrants come to this country and they kick our ass because they're not taught the same bullshit that we're taught in schools, okay? Because schools were set up by the Rockefellers to teach us how to be great employees, but it doesn't teach us about investing. It doesn't teach us about entrepreneurship. It doesn't teach us about capitalism. It doesn't teach us about any of that stuff. All of a sudden, over the last 5 to 10 years, it's become socially acceptable to talk about capitalism. Shit, when I started, and I was self-employed back in 1993, it was like if I had entered the twilight zone for being an entrepreneur. So much so that I didn't even know what the friggin' word meant. Like when someone said I would tell them what I did for a living, they're like, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur." Didn't even know what it meant. Didn't have Google back in 1994. They say, "Hey, what's an entrepreneur?" Right? And so I never took the time to look it up in a dictionary. It took me about 10 years to know what an entrepreneur was when I first started my entrepreneurial journey back in 1993, guys. And so today, it's more socially acceptable to be an entrepreneur. Back then, I had my friends coming in and their parents calling me saying, "Hey, don't be having my son read these crazy books, like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People." You guys ever heard of those books? And one of the reasons they sat back and I was like, "You think I had them like offering pornography, something, right?" Like their parents would literally call me. I remember my buddy Louis' mom would call me like, "Jerome, don't have my son reading that stuff. Like some people aren't meant to be those type of people like you, right?" And I'm like, "Man, we live in a capitalistic country. Like this is capitalism in its finest." So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, one of the big things is now it's not so taboo. It's right in front of you on social media. Okay, it's right in front of our face. And so you guys are seeing a lot of this stuff, and a lot of the reasons that you guys are here is because you guys saw stuff on social media. And a lot of what you guys see on social media, how many of us can agree that most of it is all bullshit? It's like a lot of fake stuff, guys. Okay, one thing that you guys will learn about me today is that nothing that comes out of my mouth is fake. It's all real. Okay, I got business partners here. I got, if you guys, some of these people were here listening to me on the phone, working on deals. Everything that we talk about, everything we do is real, and it starts off with how you live your life. Okay, and so one of the big things, guys, is about faith. And it's about family. If you guys don't like talking about faith, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk a little bit about it today because it's what's gotten me through some of the hardest times in business. Because in early years, and even today, guys, there's a lot of volatility in everything you do in life. You know, there's circumstances in life that they throw people off task. And at the end of this, guys, you guys have an opportunity to come in and actually work with me. There's going to be two different ways will be able to come in and work with me and my team, or with me directly. And so at the end of this, are you guys okay if I offer you guys an opportunity to come in and work with us? How many people would love to come and work with my team? And not like it's a full-time job. We're working with us to help you guys on your guys' entrepreneur journey. How many of you guys would mind some help in that? And working with somebody that can help lead you up that road that's done it. Okay? So when I tell you guys that I've done just about everything in real estate, it's not to brag to you guys. It's just to let you guys know that we really have. In 1999, I started buying single-family rental homes because the FTC shut down the multi-level marketing company that I was a part of. In 1997, they shut it down completely. I went from making $20,000 a month to zero. And it sucked. And because I was spending all the money, I was buying cars, buying houses, I had Harley Davidson motorcycles, I had jet skis, I had boats, and we were right down the road here, living in San Antonio, Texas. And when that happened, I didn't have the money to keep all that stuff, so I landed up with a real poor credit score of like a 460, and I landed up with 26 lines of bad credit, and I had to build from nothing. And something that had taken me forever to build. So those of you guys that are sitting here today that are struggling with finances, going, "Jerome, I want in this game, but I'm struggling with finances," it's okay. When I got started in 1999, I had shitty credit and I didn't have any money, but I had a business and I had a lot of wisdom from building my multi-level marketing company. I'm going to show you guys how we did that. And so where this business model that I'm going to go over with you guys today actually came from was it came from me being broke, trying to race to create wealth in my future with simple tools that I didn't have a lot of money, had a lot of work ethic, and I had a lot of mental capacity for what I was going to do in regards to business. No knowledge about real estate, no knowledge about construction, and it all kind of just fell into place through a lot of hard work. Okay, and so I'm going to share that business model with you guys. I took that business model in 1999, I built my first house. By 2001, we had hit over $1 million of net income. You know how I knew I was a millionaire? It's because my taxes were paid and I had over $1 million free and clear in my bank account all at one time. How that landed up happening, I have no idea. But it landed up going in such a sequence, it landed up all in my account at one time. I was like, shit, we're millionaires, right? And so I'm going to teach you guys that exact business model today because that's parlayed into hundreds of millions of dollars in acquisitions and holdings. We have a portfolio of just shy of about $600 million, probably worth about $300 million today with the way cap rates and interest rates are. So we took it from zero to that, and we did it from nothing. How many people would love to have a portfolio of a few $100 million in assets that you own, by the way, outright, 100% of it yourself? Not investors, not syndications, mine. Okay, and we did that through the means of a lot of different stuff. We got into retail, we ended up getting into multifamily, we did value add, we did construction. We did all of these when they made sense in the market. So I tell you guys is today, think of this as like having a toolbox, okay, of real estate and information. I'm going to give you guys tools today to put in your guys' toolbox, and when the market allows, those tools serve their purpose and magnitude. But it's a tool, guys. If you don't use the tool, it's worthless, okay? Now, everything that we've done serves its purpose at different times in the market. The market that we live in today, money is a lot more expensive than it was 2 years ago, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Values are way down on real estate. I know most people don't understand where that comes from, and I'll hit it really quick, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that today. But basically, guys, real estate is valued on revenue and net operating income. The higher your net operating income, the higher your value is. The higher your cap rate is, the lower your value is, and cap rates have to run in alignment with interest rates. And since interest rates were like at 3% and now they're like at 7%, values have more than dropped in half, okay, on real estate. That's where a lot of opportunity comes from. But none of that stuff makes any sense to anybody, but it's worthless until we have people that have a foundation. And a foundation comes from a means of being able to create active income, so you can take that active income and invest it into passive income. That makes sense? Okay. So how many of you guys want to learn the active income game today? How many of you guys want to learn the passive income game today? How many of you guys want to learn a little bit of both? Okay, let's get started. Okay, so look, guys, here in Texas, everything's bigger and better. There's a seat right here, man. There's one right over here. Come on in and join us. Okay, everything in Texas is bigger and better, yeah? Yes. Yeah. Smaller or weaker? Is everything in Texas smaller or weaker, or is it bigger and better? Bigger and better. All right. Do I got you guys? Yes. All right. You promise? Yeah. Okay, man. I'm going to give you guys. Oh, shit. I'm not going to say I'm going to match it. That was weak ass energy. I won't ever match that weak ass energy. But if you guys give me a lot of energy, I'll even give you even more friggin' energy than I would give you anyways. How about that? Is that cool? Yeah. All right. Cool. So look, ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Texas. Everything in Texas is bigger and better in Texas. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So here's the business model, guys, on buying land and building houses. I'm going to teach you guys how to scale from $0 to $1 million in net income over the course of the next 36 months. Okay? And it's a real business plan, guys. I did this in real life, and we have students that are doing it right now in real life, and you guys can do it too. So if you guys are sitting back going, I've never been in construction, know nothing about it, it's okay. Guys, I didn't either. Okay? And most of our students still haven't either. But I want to teach you guys where opportunity lies right now. Because right now, guys, there is an inventory crisis that's bigger than anybody sitting in here. And it's going to take us, if we did everything perfect as a nation, we wouldn't even hit where we need to be in 10 years from now. So we have a minimum of a 10-year threshold to be able to do this. And truth be told, I want to be retired in 10 years. But in spite of that, when I talk about retirement, I'll still be doing deals. So I'll never retire completely. I'll just do deals like one at a time. I won't be like a madman like Jerome is now, like having 150, $200 million worth of development all at one time, and I'm running all over the country. I won't be doing that. I'll be traveling around with my wife and my kids because they'll be in college at that time. So, or actually, I'll be out of college by that time. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to explain to you guys the business model that we utilize and I still utilize today. In fact, if you guys follow my social media, we're actually documenting the process of buying land and building houses. Here's the difference. When I first started building houses back in 1998, my first house I built, I made $85,000 on it. Okay, now I turned that into a business model where I was netting about $110,000 per house for over a decade. Okay, and so we did that all the way into the 2008 recession. Now, when the 2008 recession hit, we were building retail ground up as well. And so when we were doing this, I was still building houses. Now, I stopped building houses from 2009 to 2010 because I thought I was going to take a loss on these homes. And I landed up selling them. And when my accountant told me that I was profitable and I had a tax liability, I was surprised. I thought we had literally just like sponged them off and just sold them, guys. I was like, you know what, let's just fire sell them. Let's get out from underneath them. I was just trying to shed off real estate and problems that I had out from the 2008 recession. And then when my accountant called me and he goes, look, you still have another $110,000 in liability. I said, no way. I said, we fire sold the houses. We did this, we did that. He goes, you guys made profit on those homes. And I said, no shit. He goes, yeah. And he goes, 48,000 on one and like 55,000 on the other. And so I said, no way. So I landed up taking the business model. I took my expense sheet. I went through the expense sheet and I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And at the time, I was working with a guy named Bob. Bob Cantor is his name. He owns a company called Red Sky Realty. You guys can Google it. Bob's a really good friend of mine. He's in his 70s now. And Bob was doing all these commercial flips, and I was doing commercial flips too, but I was doing the buy and hold. He was doing the buy and sell thing. And so Bob goes, Jerome, let's find buildings together. You take care of the construction. We'll do them together. We'll build these things out, and I'll sell them. And I said, are you sure you could sell them? He goes, yes. You just have to build them the way I want to build. And one thing I learned from Bob back in 2009, guys, was he had me going in putting the most expensive floors in these buildings. And all I was thinking was, man, tenants are going to tear these floors up. Why would we put the most expensive floors in these buildings? And he goes, Jerome, insulate everything. Like, when we do the stucco on the outside, let's put insulation on these things. Let's redo them completely. Let's put brand new heating and cooling systems. Let's put nice baseboard on these things. And everything that we did was 100% to the maximum quality that we could put in there. Because Bob's philosophy, which wasn't mine at the time, was to give an investor a finished product that they didn't have to touch for the next 15 to 20 years. How many of you guys as investors would love to buy a product that you didn't have to touch for the next 15 to 20 years? You just bought it, leased it, and profited from it. Did you guys buy something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I didn't think like that at that time. So Bob was the one that said, Jerome, quality counts, man. He goes, and so I came with him with these $2.50 a square foot wood floors. And he comes to me with like this $5.99 wood floor. And I'm like, shit. No, Bob, man, like say a custom home, like say $1 million home, this is a little piece of shit building. And he goes, Jerome, trust me, just put it in there. Just put it in. And what Bob would do is he just go to investor and he goes, hey, Mr. Investor, he goes, I have a product that you won't have to touch. The R rating's good, the insulation's good, the heating, the cooling, everything's good. The heat loss, everything. Buy it, lease it, forget about it, and just go to work. And he sold every friggin' building. So what I started doing with my houses was the exact same thing. How many of you guys have ever, like, during like a market compression, went to a restaurant that you knew was struggling, but that restaurant had one of your favorite dishes? And then lo and behold, they changed the food item at that restaurant. You're like, damn. And then you're like, I'm not coming back. Because that was the only reason that I came was for that one food dish. You guys ever done that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not an Applebee's person, but my wife's vegetarian. So we used to go to Applebee's. They used to use fresh vegetables. And there was one right down the road from our house. And during the 2008 recession, we would go there. Well, during the 2008 recession, when people weren't spending, they went to frozen vegetables. We've never eaten at Applebee's ever since because she would go there for the fresh vegetables. We go to five-star dining restaurants, and they started cutting their premium USDA steaks down to like Albertsons, like behind the counter garbage. And then we stopped eating at those five-star dining restaurants because the quality went down. And so the people that hit our market, guys, your guys' market, your new market, they are people that are sophisticated. They are buyers that know where their money needs to go. There are parents. There are grandparents. There are educated professionals that have worked their ass off to make a better than average income. They constitute for 24% of home buyers across the United States. They're sophisticated, they're smart, and they know when you put shit in your houses or when you put quality, okay? And what happens is that with builders not being that smart, what ends up happening is when the market compresses, what do? They take the quality out of the houses to try to lessen their overall cost, and then they sit on their homes. They don't sell. So in 2009, guys, what we started doing is we started dumping about an extra $10,000 into every single house, and we worked exclusively with that $10,000 on amenities, lighting, fixtures, faucets, toilets, kitchens, hard countertops, and we found out exactly what people bought. And every single one of our homes would sell. They sat on the market for just a little bit longer, but every single home sold. I would walk them because we were fortunate enough to be realtors too. I still have my broker's license. I'm still a broker, and I have my little Supra key, and I can go into any house. So I was able to go in and check every single house that my competitors were building. And I would see Glacier-based Home Depot toilets in there that were like the cheap $99 ones. I would see the garbage little light fixtures that they were using in 1995, and they still have it for sale there today.
Wow.
Okay? And that's what's in their homes. And so I learned from what they were doing what not to do and what to scale just slightly over them for not a lot of money, just a little bit more money. My house is always sold to this day. Never sat out, never to this day. Hundreds and hundreds of homes that we built. and sold, guys, I've never taken a loss in any one of them. And the two houses that we made the least amount of money on were the two that I sold in 2009. And that was the one that I made $48,000, $55,000 on. Every single house outside of that, we made either close to 6 figures or over 6 figures on. You guys want to see the business model right here in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. So I always tell people, guys, don't build a house that's don't build a house that's over 2,700 square feet unless you're in Texas. Here, you guys should go up to about 3,000 square feet, maybe push on flirt with 3,100. But don't go over that, guys, because a lot of the really nice neighborhoods, like if you go to the legacy neighborhoods, when you go up over like the Frisco and you're going north on the Golden corridor, going up to on the Golden Expressway, going up towards the Panhandle of Oklahoma City, and you guys go into like Salina and some of these other places. One of the biggest things, ladies and gentlemen, is those people are sophisticated buyers. Is that a nice area?
Yes.
Is there other areas like in Fort Worth that are really nice areas? Yeah. How many areas do you guys know where people are spending between $600,000 and $1 million for homes here in Dallas? Lots of areas, right? That's your market, okay? Where homes are selling for in excess of $500,000, and I would say get up to the $600,000 range to $1 million range. And most people that are sitting here, some of you guys might sit back and go, well, damn, Jerome, I can't afford a $600,000-$800,000 house for myself. How am I going to go build it for somebody else? You don't need to afford a $600,000-$800,000 house for yourself. You know what I used to do, guys? I was living in a trailer. I scraped money together to build my first house. I got a line of credit from a bank that I shouldn't have gotten a line of credit from. Guys, my credit was jacked. And this lady named Joanne gave me a truck loan, and then she gave me a loan on my first build, a $100,000 line of credit. And she basically told me, because I knew her since I was 15 years old. My dad worked for the Public Service Company of New Mexico, and he was an accountant there. And this is where they banked. And so I got a loan from them for a truck loan when I was 15 years old. And I went to Joanne, and I came back, and I said, Joanne, I need a truck. I need a work truck. And she goes, Jerome, I'm going to give you the loan, but if you don't pay it back, I'm going to freaking kill you. And she looked at me and she told me, right? And then after she gave me the truck loan, I was like, I went back to Joanne. I was like, hey, Joanne, I got this other brilliant idea. I paid the truck for 3 months, doing good. Here's my books, we're making money. Joanne, I need a line. I asked for 200, but she goes, Jerome, we'll give you 100,000 to start off with. And this guy Conrad, who's the president of the bank, comes out. He goes, Jerome, we shouldn't give you this loan. He goes, you're a good kid. He goes, we know your family. And he goes, I'm going to trust in the fact that you're going to make right on this loan, in spite of your shitty credit and everything that you have, all the bad stuff that you have going on in your life right now, right? And then Joanne looked at me again. Goes, don't warn you. She goes, this is number 2. If you don't pay these back, I'm going to freaking kill you. And so I got a $100,000 line of credit, guys, and I had a little bit of money saved up in the bank. I did owner finance still on land. That's how I started. And then I poured concrete like a madman to make this whole business model work. I had a concrete company. I would take deposits from people. I would do it fast enough. I take the second portion of it and I dump it into being subcontract. And I was pouring so much concrete. I was working so hard just to be able to make enough money to pay for this first home that I was building. We ended up making about $85,000 for the first house that we built. Now, here's the business model, guys. Now, when you guys come in, you're going to look at houses between 600K to 1 million, okay? Now, where do you find these, guys? You guys want to pull out your phone. I go in, and I even look at areas where houses are selling for like $1.5 million. I want you guys to open up like redfin.com, okay? Just open it up. Let's do this together. I want you guys to understand exactly where to go when you guys leave here. Let's open it up together. Redfin, Dallas. Okay, so I'm going to open up Redfin, Dallas area. Okay. Now, when this opens up, guys, it's going to open up the Dallas metro area. Everything right up in the Dallas metro area. Okay. Now, when I zoom in on this, it's going to show me a lot of stuff that I don't need. And I'm going to open up a filter. And the only thing that I care about on this filter is when the house was built. That's all I care about. I don't care about the size. I don't care about how much it sold for. I don't care about the area. All I care is in a new home. Okay? So I'm going to go in. I'm going to go to where it says year built. And I'm going to put 2022 to 2024. Okay? You guys want to follow and do along with me? You guys can. There's 268 homes in the Dallas area. Okay? Now, we're obviously going to go outside of the Dallas area, and most of it's right here in downtown. There's a lot of shit. What year did you put in? 2022, 2024. And the reason why, guys, everything is based on comps. Multifamily, single family, everything is based on real numbers, okay? Real estate isn't science, guys. It just all comes down to simple, basic math. If you can't prove that the numbers work, you shouldn't buy it. The biggest problem is most people don't know where to even start with the numbers. They don't even know what to look for. So I tell you guys, you go in, you should look at the numbers. If the numbers support what we're doing, that's the area you go to. You don't go in and go into this one area where the numbers are taboo and it's like foreign matter. You go into areas that support the business that you're trying to build. One of the biggest mistakes most investors make is they go in trying to search for a deal. What you need to know a business model that you're after. Once you know a business model that you're after, like for multifamily, I just don't like friggin' throw up dice in the air and go wherever the friggin' map lands on the map. That's where I'm gonna go. That's where I'm gonna go build and develop. I go into a growing area. So one of the first areas that I went to, knowing that it was like the Golden Beltway by the Metroplex going up north, was I went into Salina. Why Salina? Because that's where the city's growing, right? That's where money is going. That's where, like, the left side of the street is all Jerry Jones. The right side of the street is Berkshire Hathaway, you know? So I know that that's where money's going. Paramount owns a big piece of some of that land, and it's all the big guys that are going in like that. Why do I want to go into an area where there's a bunch of broke-ass people, right? You can't get money from broke people. Got to go in where there are people that have money, okay? The legacy properties, they all have money. Those are all multi-million-dollar subdivisions, yeah? Yeah. So you follow money. There's money where money is, guys. It's simple logic. Okay. So we come in here and we start looking. We start zooming in on areas, and we start zooming in on areas. And what we're looking for is we're looking for real estate that is selling for an excess of $600,000. And all those little green dots will show you guys where it's at. Now, you want to work within a threshold of reason, right? You don't want to go in and say, okay, real estate selling for $15 million. No, you go in and look for real estate that's just slightly over where you're at. Okay? Because I want to be the small guy. I want to be the small fish in a big giant pond with a lot of people financially that can eat me up and spit me out for as scraps, right? That's where you want to be. Because if you go into an area with money and then you're the small guy in that area, guess what you're going to make? You're gonna make money, okay? So if you guys go in, there's areas. I mean, that's what I love about Dallas, man. I mean, this area economically is so freaking strong. I mean, I look at this and there's like, you go over towards the west end, and you go like to Hannah, you go into northwest Dallas, and it's just like 1.7 million, 3.5 million, 2.8 million, 5.4 million, 1.1 million, 1.7 million. $800,000. So like when I go into this market, I want to kind of go down away from these big giant $3.5 million homes. But what if you go into this area here? That's Calvary Hills. You guys familiar with like Calvary Hills? You guys familiar with like Webb Chapel, Walnut Hill Lane? You guys familiar with some of those areas?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys like right up in there, there's a Sam's Club there. Like that area, there's a lot of developed real estate. All that stuff is between like $800,000, $2 million. Okay, you go up north, you go up towards like Frisco, Salina, same thing, right? You go into some of the North Dallas areas over by like Midway Road. Shit, all that stuff is like 1.5 to $3 million homes. Yeah. Okay, so you go into areas that support the business model, guys. And we're going to stay somewhere within this area. We're servicing the upper 24% of people that of home buyers. Okay, 24% of home buyers. This is the upper 24%. Okay, that constitutes for several hundreds of thousands of people across the United States, guys, that are home buyers. Millions and millions of home buyers across the United States that are within this sector. You don't need to go in and focus and compete against Lennar Homes, D.R. Horton, and all these guys. Like D.R. Horton, you can go buy a 4,000 square foot house and pay like $500,000 for it, right? You don't want to compete with that. The reason why is because those guys are producing in volume. You can never compete with them. Let them focus on the average median buyer. Let them have that market. We tried playing in that market sucks. We were building about 70 homes a year. And when we were building 70 homes a year, and after the 2008 recession, we went down to 12 homes a year. When we added up our net proceeds, We made $102,000 more in 1 year from building 70 homes a year than building 12. Well, how many of you guys are willing to pull out of the ground an extra 55 homes a year to make an extra $100,000? Any of you guys? It's stupid because you land up servicing the beast. You land up going in and just servicing the beast when you do that. So any of you guys that sit back, well, hey, I want to scale it big. Scale in the right area. Don't scale big. Because if you scale big, you might land up putting yourself in a position where you're servicing the beast of payroll. You guys don't want to do that. Okay, so we come in, we hit $600 million. The houses should be someplace in the neighborhood of about 1,700 square feet to about 3,000, we'll call it 3,100 square feet. Okay. Now this is usually 2,700 square feet. And here's the reason why. You always want to build and you always want to develop, you always want to invest as if we were going to go into a bad market. So if we're in a bad market, you're in a good place, right? If we're not in a bad market and you know that the market might dip at a certain point in time, but you stay aware of that, you're still in a good place, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so everything that we did after 2008 was assuming that we were going to go back to the worst time, and the worst economy was 2008. So everything that we've done since 2008 was under the assumption that the market would compress and would go back to that. So everything we do is revolves, it is based around our underwriting to be in the worst markets ever. Because if we underwrite for the worst, but we execute for the best, you win every single time. So people sit back and go, Jerome, how have you not lost money in real estate? It's because we execute and we build our developments for the worst times in the economy. And so if the economy is not at that place, we still do very, very well. So you won't hear that Jerome Maldonado is losing a $70 million apartment complex because when we go in and we build it, we're building them basically for free because we're not making money on them right now, but we land up owning a 50, 60, $70 million development that cash flows for us for the rest of our lives. How many people are okay working for free if you get a cash flowing property that's worth $50 to $70 million? Yeah? How many of you guys are willing to do it for a property that's worth $3 million, $2 million? Yeah? 5 of you? How about the rest of you guys? You guys here play tiddlywinks? You know? I mean, look, guys, so here's the thing, is you want to go in and execute based on what the market is currently bearing in the best case scenario, but you can go in and function and underwrite for the worst. Now, if we go in and we build this out for 3,100 square feet, this is where you want to stay. You don't want to go over that because people in a compressed economy will only buy what they're in need of, not what they want. And with interest rates high, if you have a family and you're going to go in and buy a house for that family, but you can only afford a certain amount, are you going to go out and buy a smaller house because that's a swimming pool? Or are you going to buy a bigger house that you need and forego the swimming pool? What would you do? You buy the bigger house because that's what you need, right? Okay, so in a compressed market, you always want to build what people are in need of. Not what they want, what they need. You're going to give them the best quality, but you build what they need, not what they want. Okay? We all want a lot of cool shit, but do we need it?
Right.
No. Like people say, Jerome, why are you driving around a bunch of Lamborghinis and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, because I got a family, man, and it's only a 2-seater, and like I have a bunch of shit in my garage already, dead batteries, like, so it doesn't make any sense, right? I don't need it right now. I don't even want it right now. You know what makes sense? Is me being able to fly all over the country with my kids, wherever they go, to be able to travel and go with my son in one city, my daughter in another city, me in a different city, and all of us being able to do whatever the hell we want without having to worry about absolutely anything. How many people think that's free? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm in need of right now. It's not what I want all the time, but that's what we're in need of. People will buy what they need, not what they want. Okay, so always remember that. Now, when we go in and we do this, if we go in, and here in Texas, the biggest problem with Texas is that the price for real estate is really, really affordable. But so is your land. So watch, let's look at this from a real perspective, guys. Okay? Now, let's say that we take this and we build, let's just call it a 3,000 square foot house. Okay? Let's call it a 3,000 square foot house. We build this up in North Dallas area. Okay? So we take a 3,000 square foot house. Now, we take a 3,000 square foot house. Let's say that house is selling for $1 million. Okay? Or let's call it 900,000. Call it a little bit less. Call it 900K resale price. Okay? Now, you take this resale price here, 3,000 square feet. How much is the land in a lot of these areas, guys? The land's a little expensive, sometimes. How much?
150.
150 grand? Yeah.
Maybe two. More than that.
150 to 200,000? Yeah.
Frisco would be more.
They don't pay that in Frisco. I mean, there's not even water in Frisco yet. There's not even sewer lines yet. You know, you guys be careful in North Frisco going into Salina and stuff. There's, Salina is now where Frisco was 15 years ago. But if you guys want to see a 15-year projection like where Salina is going to be, just look at where Frisco was, how much growth has happened out there. You guys have 8,000 people a week moving into the Dallas metro area. You guys know that?
Yeah.
Wow.
8,000 people a week moving here, guys. Do you think you need some homes?
A little bit.
A little bit, right? I mean, just a little bit, guys. And so one of the big things, guys, is let's say that the land costs you $200,000. Now, you're not going to spend more than, now I'll tell you guys, 150 to 200,000 within a threshold of reason for a $900,000 house. Once we get over $1 million, you can start spending a tiny bit more. Like in Washington State, it's the most expensive market that I'm building and developing in right now. We go in and we're building little 1,500 square foot houses, and we're affording $220,000 per lot. Okay,
Wow.
but we're selling these things for $1.4 million. We're making about $350,000 to $400,000 per unit. Okay, and we're doing these like at scale. It's in Kirkland, Washington. Stay in Texas, man. I mean, it's a pain in the friggin' ass up there to get permits. Okay, it's a lot easier to get permits here than it is out there. It takes us 2 years to get permits out there.
No.
Here, you can get them in like 60 days.
Oh,
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Have to stay a little more.
Yeah, but you can go into the small municipalities where it's Billy Bob underwriting your deal, man, and just looking at those things and pushing paper, man. You know, you find your own little market. And here's what's cool about this, guys, is that when you guys build, like when I started building houses, I stayed within like a 1 mile corridor for over a decade. Never even left until the 2008 recession hit. 2008 recession hit, I had to move out of that area because impact fees were so expensive. I went to a smaller municipality that I still build in today back in 2009 where there is no impact fees. The impact fee amount I put into amenities, and that's how we did it. So I went from impact fees to amenities and sold the houses. And I've been building this one area where there's a population of less than 2,000 people, millions and millions of dollars. We still do half a dozen homes there a year, and we sell those homes for $850,000, and we make about $300,000 on every house that we still build. Okay, it's 5 minutes from my house. Okay, so just right out of my back door, literally right down the road. So I meet a contractor, hey, 850, they call, hey, it's 850, but okay, I'll be right there in 5 minutes. And go down to you. Okay. So look, guys. So let's say $900,000. Let's say that we spend $200,000 on land. So land, $200K. You guys should be looking at this, guys. This is the business model that the numbers are pretty freaking close. Okay. Now, building costs have went down substantially. And one of the big things is like when we were building houses and we're living and breathing and eating this stuff every single day. With single family homes, the average cost to build nationwide right now is about $142 a square foot. Okay.
wow.
So you could build a single family home on average for $142 a square foot. Let's call it $150 a square foot. Okay. So we go in and the cost to build is $150 a square foot. Your cost to build is going to be 3,000. What did we say? 3,000 square feet times 150. Okay, it's $450,000. Okay, your cost to build. Now you're going to have some closing costs. You're going to have 3% to the seller's broker, 3% to the buyer's broker, and then you're going to have at least 1% to title. Okay, for escrow. So about 7% for closing fees. Okay, so we'll do 7% of 900,000, 31,000,
31,500.
31,500. No, it's more than that. Off of $900,000
Oh, no,
900,
450.
sorry.
You bring it
900,000
450.
times 0.07, 63,000. There you go, 63K.
That's right.
Okay, it's 53K.
Forgot.
30,000 would be better.
Yeah.
It's the numbers, right? Okay, so now you're gonna have debt service. Okay, you don't service the debt on the 63,000, but the land and the build cost you are. Okay, now look, guys, for those of you guys who are sitting back going, how do I even get into this? Look, don't worry about the land cost. Tie it up. Okay, tie it up. When you go in, like right now, man, I got so much land tied up on multifamily, it is unfreaking believable. Ramaz, my business partner in Washington, called me the other day. He's like, yeah, I got another deal. I'm like, dude, I don't need more deals. Give me 60 days. I got so many deals coming out of out of our portfolio right now, we have like almost $200 million worth of development going on, and we're sitting back just playing the balancing act right now. We're just doing it on a bigger scale. But so when you go in, guys, we do an owner finance deal, or we just do a long-term close. And I'm going to show you how this works when I break down the 36 months. Okay. Now, you go in, you tie this up on either an owner finance deal. You don't put a lot of money down. You maybe put a couple $1,000s, maybe $5,000 in escrow to hold the land. Okay, to hold the land. And then you go in and you start executing towards your permits. Because the second that you have a set of blueprints, you can take that to the bank. And that bank goes in and assesses the value and the appraisal based on that set of prints. Your first draw from the bank is going to be for the land. Okay? And then you're going to have a construction loan that they give you payments on based on production and phases. When you talk to your contractors and you talk to your subcontractors, they understand the game. So when you tell them, we're 30 days out, we can't pay you today, we need to wait for a draw. And then you execute based on a budget. Now, guys, we have an underwriting spreadsheet that my dad and I built back in 1999 when I built my first house. My dad built one house his entire life, and that was the house that we lived in when I was 8 years old, all the way till the time I graduated from high school. Now, do you think that having a spreadsheet that breaks down line by line the sequential order of what you need to do on that build would be helpful? Yeah? Okay. How many of you guys would love that spreadsheet? Okay. So at the end of this, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to have that spreadsheet as part of what we're doing working with this. Okay. And so we go in and we break it down because that spreadsheet is going to be needed by banks. The banks are going to want to see what your budget is. If you execute based on that spreadsheet, how hard is it to do this and budget if you already have the numbers in advance of what you should be spending? How many people think it'd be a lot easier to execute if you guys have the real numbers? Yeah? Yeah. So one of the big things is go in and you have to finance this $450 plus $200, $650,000. Now, if you take $650,000, it's going to take you guys about 5 months to build. We'll call it 6 months. It might be a first build for someone, for most of you guys in here. But if you take 7% interest rate, you get, let's call it 7.5 times 0.075. That's $48,000 per year. You divide that by 2. The loan escalates, guys. You don't just get $650,000 from the bank. It grows with the build. So you actually land up with about 1/3 of that. So you'll have about $20,000 in debt service. Okay, it'll actually be less than that. It'll probably be closer to about 12 or 15,000, but we'll just call it 20 for all intents and purposes. Now let's add these bad boys up. So we have $200,000, 200 plus 450 plus 63 plus 20. That's $733,000. That's your build cost. That's your total. Okay. Now we take that and subtract that 733.
167.
167. That's with expensive land, guys. Okay. So $167,000 net. Conservatively speaking, okay, that's where the money comes from, right there. Okay, those are your real expenses. That's realistically about what it's going to cost you. Let's just say that it's $160,000. Yeah. Okay. Let's say that you guys have a little bit of caveat in there. Okay, now this build cost includes your soft cost, it includes your water, your sewer, all of that stuff. It's all included in. Now, let's go and take this $160,000. How many of you guys want to see how to turn that into $1 million in less than 36 months? Yeah. How many of you guys want to see that turn into $1 million and not have to pay any taxes on it?
Let's go.
Okay, those of you didn't raise your hand, I want you to raise your hand now. Those that didn't raise your hand, raise your hand now. Okay, because if you guys want to pay taxes, I'm going to give you some more that you guys can pay for. You guys, a little bit more tax. Okay, so look at this, guys. Month 1 through 3. You're going to find land. Okay, let's say that you guys leave here today, and it takes you guys 3 months just to get comfortable. And one of the biggest things, guys, is how many of you guys would love to have a community that supports you, even if it took you a year to do this? Okay, how many of you guys would love to just have a community that supports you, even if it took you a year to find a piece of land? You guys love having a community where you got one? Because look, guys, think about it like college. Okay, college is the best way that I can explain this to you guys. How many of you guys graduated from college? Raise your hand. Shit, a lot of you guys. Okay, how many of you guys at least went to college and spent more than one full year, 2 semesters in college? Raise your hand. Okay, now, how much money did you make when you were in college?
But
Not much, right? It takes $111,000, ladies and gentlemen, on average to get a 4-year degree. $111,000. You know what the average college graduate earns when they get out of college today?
40, 60.
Higher, 60,
65,
65,000 a year. $65,000 a year is the average earning wage for a first-year college graduate after college. 4-year degree that it takes most people 5 years to get. $111,000, right? And guys, I'm no math genius, but that seems to me like a scam. Yeah, I'm a college graduate. I went to pharmacy school. I got my degree. My kids will go to college for an entirely different reason than most people. Most people go to college why? To get a better job, right? Yeah, to better their life. Now, how much better is their life when they get a $60,000 job and they paid $111,000 for a degree, and now they still have to make a living, and it takes them the next 5 to 10 years to pay off that $110,000 when you graduate from college. How many of you guys would much rather earn while you learn? And let's say that this even took you like a full year to do, guys, to find land. Think about it this way: you have a support group that helps you. It's like going to AA every day. Damn, I can't find land. This shit sucks, man. And most of it's self-confidence, right? Like, I'm just scared. I don't know. How do I buy the land? Where do I find the contractors? How do I do this stuff? And you're sitting back and you need like this AA help just to help you get through it, right? So look, guys, let's say it takes you guys 3 months. You guys go in, you guys execute. How many people think that having tools to teach you how to find the land would be super important? Okay, so I put it together like an accelerated class called our 5-day land challenge. Has anybody in here ever taken our 5-day land challenge that's in here?
we started.
One person started, no one else? Shit, well, good. We got a whole group that are like guinea pigs to this, man. It's awesome. I gotta be marketing better. Okay. Shit. So look, guys, all of you guys will have an opportunity to have our 5-day land challenge. You guys leave here. It's great because you guys can go in there and I teach you guys step by step how to find land in an area and actually how to go find the business model where the land actually sits. Okay, you don't go in and find the land, you find the business model. So I teach you guys how to find the business model. It's a 5-day land challenge you can literally do in 2 days if you want to. You know, we break it down really slow for you guys. But if it took you guys 3 months to find the business model and really feel comfortable, and then by month number 3, you find the land. Month number 4, you guys start executing. The second you find the land, you start using other people's time for free. You don't buy the land, you just tie it up, you reserve it, you secure it. You don't put a bunch of money out of your pocket. You go in and you utilize their time. You do a 60, 90-day close and you start pushing towards permits. You start working on designs. You start working with your survey company. The seller pays for the survey at escrow. You make them get the survey for you. You get that survey and you take it over and you give it to an architect. You go in and give it to a draftsman and you have them go in and start putting the house designs together for you. Where do you get the house designs? You poach them right from around you. The houses that are selling quick, you go in there and they're public information. You can go in and take those plans. You can take them to your architect, have them reproduce those exact plans of houses that are selling and have them do a different elevation, make it look different, and just change it to make it your own. Okay, don't change it too much. If it's working, don't change it. Okay, when I owned a bunch of Subway stores, the reason I bought them is because when Fred DeLuca came to me and said, Jerome, how are you taking these old broken down stores that are 13 years old and taking them from 4,000 a week to 9,000 a week in just less than 60 days? And I said, Fred, bro, when I came into Subway, I told him, I said, I was busy as shit trying to save my ass in retail and all the developments I had and in single family homes. I didn't have time to go in and reinvent the wheel. I wanted a system that was set in place and already worked. And so all I did, Fred, is I went to Connecticut. I went and implemented your friggin' system that I went and spent 2 weeks away from my newborn son to learn in 2008. So I could come in and duplicate your system. It's not Jerome's way. It's not Mike's way. It's not Victor's way. It's friggin' Subway. And I said, I took your system with my marketing skills and I took your stores from 4,000 a week to 9,000 a week. Fred DeLuca Food and Ventures. This guy, man, like, come in, buy 13 friggin' stores in less than 2 years and have all of them kicking ass because I didn't reinvent the wheel. My mentor years ago, he said, look, if it's not broken, don't fix it. He goes, find what other people are doing that works and just simply duplicate it. That's it. And guess what I was really good at in school? Friggin' copy. Right? So I was like expert copycat. Okay? So I was really good at this. So I'm telling you guys, it's okay to copy because this business model, it works. okay? Don't fuck it up, okay? It works. It's been working for me forever and it still works for me today. Don't jack it up, okay? Just keep it simple. Now, you go in, you tie up the land for a very minimal amount of money. You go in and start executing your designs. You get to the finish line before you even close on the land. Now, if you run out of time, you just go and talk to the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, whoever it is, say, look, we have a full set of prints, we're going to the bank, the underwriting's taking a little bit longer, can you give us a couple extra weeks to get through financing? Do you think they're gonna say no? Not unless you're a real jerk, guys. 99% of people just say, no problem. They just wanna know that they're gonna get to the finish line and sell you the land. So now if you're in finance, you have leverage to be able to go in and get to the finish line so you can get the bank to pay for it. So you go in and you start working on your construction loans, or you start working on a hard money lender. I have a gal, her name is Miranda. She's part of our inner circle. When she first started, she didn't have the bandwidth to her. Her husband's a tech guy, doesn't help her at all. She was a stay-at-home mom, 4 kids. A stay-at-home mom, 4 kids, guys. And she went in and she got a hard money lender. He took 50% of her profit on her first 3 houses.
Wow.
She was netting $260,000 a house. She gave him $130,000 on each house, but she made $130,000.
Oh my.
First 3 homes,
She got that.
You got it done.
You got that.
50%, guys. She gave 50% of it. Hard money lenders. She partnered with them as a silent partner, gave him 50%. House number 4, she did 100% on her own. House number 5, 100% on her own. She's on house number 6 right now, making $260,000 a year. I mean, a house, per house. On her 4th, 5th, and 6th house, doesn't need hard money lenders. How many people think that Miranda is doing okay? She's awesome. We have other students that I just want, I can keep going on stories and stories and stories. But when people sit back and go, I can't do it, I have no money. Yeah, you need a community, you need people. I built it for you guys. You need the right people around you guys to get the money. The business model's here. You just have to understand the business model. Okay, so month number 3, find the land. Month number 4 and 5, you're going in and you're working towards permits. Okay, so let's say it takes you guys month number 3, 4, 5, 3 months. You guys get permits. Okay, so month 3 through 5, plan review. Get your permits. Okay, month number 6. You build. Okay, and month number 6, let's say it takes you guys 6 months. Month number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it takes you guys 11 months to build this house. Month 6 through 11. Okay, to build a house. Now, once you guys get into this, the hardest thing is just getting started. Because everybody thinks that this is an undertaking and it's overwhelming because they've never done it. How many of you guys have ever done a remodel on a rental property or a fix and flip before? Raise your hand. Shit, like almost half the room, about a little over 2 or a little over a third of the room. Okay, so if you've done that, this, believe you me, this is simple. Because renovations and fix and flips, they suck, guys. How many of you guys have ever peeled open a wall and you're like, there's more plumbing problems than I thought. We open a wall and you're like, damn, there's way more electrical problems than I thought. And now the inspector comes in to inspect, like, you gotta upgrade the entire electrical system. You're like, what? You're like, how much more is that gonna cost? 10,000. You're like, oh, I'm only gonna make 30 grand on this. Now your profit's here, right? And then you're like, well, I'll just list the house for 10,000 more. You're hoping you can get it. You guys ever done that before? Yeah? You're sitting back sweating a little bit. You're like, okay, then you should just sell your brain. I'll just sell for 10,000 more. I'm gonna make this house really nice. I'm gonna get it on the back end. And we're gonna get this all fixed up. That's fix and flip. That sucks, guys. Why not just control your variables by doing it from the ground up? I've done the fix and flip game. Every friggin' fix and flip in 2008, every one of them. We had like 11 of them going. I made almost nothing on every one of them. We literally sold them just to break even or at a small loss just to get out from underneath them. You guys ever done that before? Yeah, shit, everything. Fix and flip. Don't think they're stupid. I did them to keep my crews busy. I was like, screw that. No more fix and flips. I'll never do a fix and flip ever again. After 2009, when I sold all that garbage, I had never done a fix and flip ever since. It's stupid to me. I don't understand it. I understand the game. I don't understand how people do it. Okay? When they have this option. I understand why you do it if you don't know about this option. But once you know about the option of going ground up and knowing that it's just as hard and easier than doing it, guys, don't fix and flip. It's friggin' crazy. You'll make 3 times the net profit with less of the work, less stress, and more controlled variables. that you guys know what you're gonna have every single time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's why I do ground up. You guys won't hear me do a fix, you guys won't see me do it. Unless I do a big value add, a big multifamily or a commercial property. Okay, so you go to month 6-11. Okay, now you list that house month 11. Let's say it takes you guys 60 days. The national average to sell a house right now in today's market is 27 days. Okay, so let's say it takes you guys 60 days to sell it. So you take month number 11, 12, 13. So month 12 and 13, you sell it. Month number 13, right here, 160K. Okay, now, you guys don't go in, don't pay taxes on that money. Okay, don't pay taxes on it. Here's why. Let me explain some about business. Most of you guys are investors. You guys invest, there's what's called capital gains tax. When you build, it's not capital gains tax. This is active income. This is a business. This is just like any business, like going to a grocery store that stocks food on the shelves. Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I am. So I advise you guys highly to consult with a CPA to do this correctly. My accountant, when I did this, I talked to him. He said, Jerome, pay your taxes. I said, well, I don't want to because I'm broke. I need the money to be able to scale. And so I started coming up with all these creative ideas. And we made it work. We never got audited, never ever went against us. But what we did is when you have income of $160,000 in an active business and you're growing it, you have what? Expenses, right? You don't take an exotic vacation. You don't go down to Bali. You don't go down to the French Riviera. You don't go and buy yourself a Lamborghini or even a Rolex watch. You collateralize that money for your next bill. You don't spend it. You keep working your job that you're doing right now. Here's the difference, guys. How many people would love to leave the job that they have right now today? Raise your hand. How many of you guys would love to leave your job that you have today? Raise your hand. Okay? Now, we've all done things that we don't like to do in our lives. When you are doing it, you have to do it, and you know you're going to be stuck there because you don't have an alternative for the next 20 or 30 years, it sucks. But all of a sudden, when you have an alternative, and you know that this is working, and you have $160,000 in the bank, you're going to work, skipping a different tune, are you not?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, baby, I'm gonna get this shit going. Screw Andy or Sue or whoever's talking shit at work and all the politics, because I'm out of here as soon as I get a couple more bills done. And now you're just going, you're walking through a different light on your face, are you not?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, because now you have an exit. And so the biggest thing, guys, is that what most people don't have is they don't have an exit. So it's okay, because now your job isn't as stressful as it once was, because now you know you have a vehicle. Okay? And that vehicle you can do part-time, because building one house, guys, is really simple. It only takes you guys about 5 to 10 hours a week. Bigger if it takes you 10 hours a week. You have to think about it in real perspective. You're going to be on the phone dealing with problems with subcontractors for about an hour a day. It takes about that. I just did 3 calls I had 15 minutes before we got started at 2 o'clock, and I took care of 3 calls in 15 minutes dealing with houses right before we started this meeting. 3. And I dealt with 1 call that was a $100 million development I'm doing in Solo, Arizona, with one of my business partners, Cody Sperber and Brian Atlas, his business partner, that we're doing on a big storage facility, multifamily, and RV recreational area that we're building out in Solo, Arizona. And I deal with the architects for 5 minutes of that 15 minutes. So it doesn't take a lot of time. But then when you go to the job site, you're going to need to spend about 30 minutes to an hour down there. And you're going to look for problems. So that when you leave there, you make the phone calls to get those problems fixed. So in less than 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, if you show up every single day, which I know you guys won't, because no one ever does, and I tell you guys, show up at least 1 hour every day. That's it, guys. 1 hour every day. And if you do that, you'll run a really good project. Okay, because you're going to be looking for problems. How many of you guys can afford 10 hours a week for 6 months to be able to make that?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
So look, ladies and gentlemen, we go in month number 13. Now we're going to go in month number 13. We're going to start 2. Okay, 2 bills. Now, when we get over here to month number 6, we start building right here. This right here, we start going in and working on 2 lots. Okay, we're going to go in. Now, you're going to go to your brokers. You're going to go, Mr. Broker, Mrs. Broker, look, I just bought this last lot from you. I need 2 more. But I can't close on them until I sell this house. What does the seller want more than anything? They want a buyer, right? Right? Okay, they want a viable buyer. You just bought a lot from them, you successfully got to the finish line. How many of you guys think they'll let you tie up 2 lots? And because they know that you got to the finish line, how many of you guys think that they'll even work with you a little bit to help you get to the finish line for the next 2 lots? Because if you buy those 2 lots, what are the chances of them selling you 2 more lots? Does that make sense? So the way you stay in the same area, once you know your business model works, is now you have a bandwidth of communication and relationships that allows you to almost call the shots in the area. Because now they trust you, they like you, and you're a buyer. And all the seller wants, they want a viable buyer. That's all they want. So once you're in a given area and you do this, guys, they'll work with you. So right over here, you tie up the lots, and then you go in and you start working on all your building permits. You might take a couple $1,000s out of your construction money to start investing in the next lots. Don't spend a bunch, because if you loiter that, if you money launder that money, it's federal. You just take a little tiny bit, you use a couple $1,000s over here because you're going to be under budget. You're going to learn how to budget these projects right, how to finance them correctly, and you just tie up the lots and you start working on designs. So by the time you come over here, you do month number 6, 7, 8, you're working on plan review. Month number 9, 10, you got permits. Now the permits are just hovering so you can sell the house. 10, 11, 12, 13, house sells, cash in. You go to your banker. You go, Mr. Banker, I'm going to collateralize this against my next 2 builds. I need a construction loan on 2 houses. Now you go back in and you put those towards your next 2 builds. You collateralize that land right here, month number 13, you start 2 builds. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 6 months, month number 13 through 18, you build 2 homes. Okay? It's just as hard to build 2 as it is to do 1. In fact, it's easier to do 2 than it is 1, because once you go in there, your time is more valued. It takes you no more time to build 2 houses than it does 1. One of the biggest things that people come in, they tell me, Jerome, I should have built 2, like you said in the beginning, because I feel like I've wasted my time only building 1 house. Okay? And so once you guys come in, you guys do this, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. You sit back and have to do 2 at a time. Month number 13 through 18. Now, 18, 19, 20. Okay, month number 18 through 20 is for sale. Month number 20, you cash it. Okay, so now you have 2 of them. So you have $320,000, right? You got 480,000. Okay, now you're going to expense stuff, guys. Go ahead.
In regards to building those 2 houses together,
Yes.
if money is not a problem, what is the, it maximizes the contractor being nearby? Is it the cost of the contractor for 2 projects?
Yeah, so you guys want to make it more. Once you have like 2 houses, what we typically do is we say, hey, we got 2 of them at the same time, guys. Can you shave off a little bit and help us a little bit with the price? So you start shaving $1,000 off of 20 different trades, you land up making $10,000 to $20,000 more per house, just based on the fact that you have more volume, right? So your net proceeds actually land up going up as you start doing more volume. Okay, even on the next 2, it's just 2. Now those contractors, they want your business. They don't want to go anyplace. So they'll start taking care of it. You'll have good contractors, you'll have bad contractors, you always will. I always keep 2 of every contractor, because if I keep 2 of every contractor, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what, you always have the bandwidth for default. Okay, so we'll always do that. We'll leverage it more. But let's say that you don't, you're still at 480. Now, look, guys, let's talk about taxes here real quick, because taxes are a big thing, right? So what we land up doing is we land up going in and we expense everything. So when we're going in, we're building 2 more. We're spending more money than actually is coming in. Yeah. Okay, so if you expense it against drywall, paint, roofing materials, labor, landscaping, when you get to the end of your first build, you get into your second build, you have no money left. How much do you pay in taxes if you're writing everything off? 0. Your amount out of pocket is larger than what your income coming in is. Does that make sense? Because it's a real business, not capital gains taxes, it's active income, just like your job. Okay? Now you're writing off your kids' tuition, you're writing off your trip to your trips out of town. Like Rick's out here with the kids from spring break. He's up here working just because of this right here alone. He'll spend all weekend out here in Dallas with the kids. The whole trip is tax deductible. You know why? Because he'll be working for us down here while he's here. And he's here today, and it's all a tax write-off. Okay, so you just expense all of that stuff. Now, we have $480,000. Now, once we get into the bill, and we're in month number 18, like month number 15, guess what we go do again? 4 lots. 4 lots, guys. Now we go back, we go 4 lots. When you get here, this is where you go to the bank and you say, hey, Mr. Banker, because the banker isn't looking at just this, they're looking at how long will this last to service debt on those houses. And if the debt service is $20,000 for every house, they have a lot of debt service they can take out of this, yeah?
Yep.
And what are the banks good at doing?
Take money.
They're taking money, right? So they're looking at this, they're collateralizing this. You still don't go have a nice dinner. Reward yourself with something modest. Go have a Wagyu steak and spend $400 on a dinner. And say, go down to Betty's Day Spa and go get a massage and go hang out for a little bit, getting with your wife or husband or whatever, right? Just go have a day on the town. Go spend $500,000 on yourself. Put the rest of it back towards your next bill. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Collateralize the rest of it. And then you go into the banks and you tell, hey, I'm going to collateralize this against 4 more bills. I need $1 million line of credit, or I need a $2 million line of credit. It's not that hard to get a $2 million line of credit when you have this type of money sitting in your bank account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In deposits. So now you're only at month number 20. You have $480,000, guys, in your bank account. You're not paying taxes on that. Okay. Now you go in, you get 4 lots. So you take month number 20. Now, when you get to 4 homes, it is going to take you guys an extra month or so, because now 4 homes, you can still do this on your own. You don't need a secretary. You don't need a superintendent. You can do 4 homes all on your own, guys. Nobody else but you. You're a paper contractor, and you can do this, especially if you already have the spreadsheets that we put together for you that you can utilize, and you keep them organized, and all you do is your data entry, 1 sub at a time. Okay? Because you don't have 20 subs out there all in one day. So every day you get home, you just update the checks that you wrote every time your draw comes in. It takes about 30 minutes. You update it. You just keep your Excel spreadsheet updated. So you know exactly where you are in your expenses every single day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's all you do, because that's what the bankers need. That's what your accountant needs. That's what you're going to need to know you're profitable. That's what everybody needs. And that's all it takes to be able to balance these out, guys. I did it all the way up till 10 homes on myself. That's a freaking machine to do on your own. Just 10. Don't do that. Once you get past 4 to 6, hire somebody. But 4, you can do on your own. So you go in, you do 4 lots. Right here in like month number 15, 16, 17, you're working on plan review, you're working on permits. Now you've created a pipeline. So now by the time you get to month number 20, these houses sell, these are permit ready, they're ready to go. We're always have permits ready and waiting for a resale. The second these houses sell, boom, we go right in. So now we go month number 20. It's going to take about 7 months, guys, to be able to build out 4 homes. It will take you about an extra month because you're going to have some subs that are lagging you out to go to house number 3 and 4 because they're working on house number 1 and 2, even with 2 subs. This is where it becomes really important that you start having a bandwidth of more subs. Where do you find subs? How many of you guys ever seen a video where I was in real life going to job sites? You guys ever seen videos on YouTube where I go to real job sites? You guys ever seen it? You seen that one? I just go into real job sites and I do this live. Like I can go right here in Dallas. I'll just drive into a subdivision, I'll park my car, I'll get out, and I'll just walk around. I'll be like taking pictures of the car. I'll walk in, I'll be like, and I'll tell them, who's the patron? Who's the boss here? You know, and I'll walk into a job site just like that. Who's the patron? Like, oh, he is. They're all joking around. And then I go, and then I get their phone number. And I go in and I start getting the electricians, the drywall guys. I go into one DR subdivision, I get all my subcontractors in one day. And then I go to another job site and I do the same thing. And then the superintendent comes out, and you know what I'm not doing? The superintendent goes, what are you doing here? I'm poaching all your subs. Do we live in a capitalistic country?
Yeah.
Yeah, not illegal. Monopolies are illegal, right? We're keeping their subs busy. I go in, I've never been kicked out. Well, I can't say that. I have been kicked out. Very rare, guys, to get kicked out of a subdivision. You have to find a real jerk of a superintendent, and if he kicks you out, just go to the next. Because I've been like literally kicked off of 1 or 2 job sites my entire life for doing this, guys. And I just go into any city across the United States, and that's how I find my subs. If I ever need a sub, and I'm like, shit, if I ever need employees, I go handle my business. Hey, you happy to do your job? Oh, right. I like to handle my business card. Other employees, right? That's how I get people, guys. I go where the people are at. Okay, now, month number 20 to 27. You're going to build. Now, it's gonna take you a little longer to sell it, because now let's say it takes you 4 months to sell 4 homes. You sell a house a month. So you go from month 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So month 31, you have all the houses sold. You do 4 times 160, what is that, guys?
40.
640? That's 1 million, that's $1.12 million, right?
Yep.
1,120K. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I did this in 2 years. Difference was, I did it in 2 years and I was only making $100,000 a house.
Wow.
I had to do 10 homes. I did 10 homes. 2 years. I didn't have the money. Do you want me to tell you guys how I did it? I got that line of credit and I was about $100,000 shy of being able to build my first house. So I go sell a friggin' driveway. I would go in and do 2 driveways. Then the money that I made doing the driveway, I pay a subcontract. Sometimes, you see, I had a little bit of lag time because I still had a little bit of money in the bank, had a line of credit, had the land owner finance. I didn't have a mortgage done, so I was able to carry the land the whole way through the bill. So I had about $130,000 to carry me through the first couple months. So I was bankrolling stocking cash. So I was making about $20,000 a month pouring concrete. So by month number 2, I had $40,000. Now I had a little bit more to get me to the finish line. Paid off some subs. Then I ran out of money right before the build ended. So guess what I did? I wrote checks, and I forgot. I would accidentally forget to sign them. You know why? Because I had to go pour another freaking driveway. And then I go pour a driveway, and I'd be running around. They could chase me around for a check. They're like, "Oh, I'm out of town right now. I'm sitting there freaking finishing a driveway." Right? And I get paid on the driveway, and I take that to the bank, and then I write them a check, and I sign that check. And then I go to the next sub. And then I get to the end of my bill. And I just poured freaking concrete. That's how I got my first bill done. Then I went to 2 bills. And I still didn't have enough money to do 2. I had enough money to fully do 1 and get a second one started. But I didn't have enough money to get the second one finished. So guess what I did? I freaking poured more concrete. I started knocking on doors Saturdays, Sundays, whatever. We were working 6, 7 days a week. And I was just selling concrete jobs, guys. I don't feel sorry for anybody that can't make this work. Because I literally would be, and my girlfriend at the time was my wife now, I'd say, she goes, I'd tell her on Saturdays or Sundays, I say, I'll see you later. Just where are you going? I said, I gotta go sell some jobs for Monday. We don't have work. We got some houses we gotta do. She said, what time are you gonna be home? I said, I have a fucking job for Monday. That's when I'll get home. Right? That was my answer. And I didn't come back until I had a job for Monday. Does that make sense? I don't feel sorry for anybody. I work my ass off to get to where I am. And I still do that today, guys. I just do it at a different level. Okay? And so understand, ladies and gentlemen, it's extremely viable. I'll teach you guys a much easier way to concrete. This is the right way. Okay? Now, you got to a point that at a certain point in time, and even if you guys screw this up and it takes you 36 months, you guys still have 5 months in there for just contingency period to do this. Now, look, guys. When I first started doing this, guys, I would build for the first third of the year to be able to go in and be able to pay my taxes. So once I got to a certain point, you sit back and you go, shit, man, I'm going to have to pay these taxes. So all you're doing is creating a tax liability. That's all you're doing. And so you haven't had to pay taxes. That's your money. But now you guys have to start understanding the commercial game, multifamily game. Okay? Here's why it's important to understand both. Because how many people want to work that hard, first and foremost, to go out and get this money, and then give $450,000 of that to the federal government? Because that's how much you're going to pay to them, yeah? You're going to spend about $450,000 in income taxes when this finally catches up to you. Now, or you can go buy a 10-unit, 5-unit, 8-unit apartment complex or a little commercial building. And what you can do is do what's called cost segregation against it. So if you go in and you buy a $1.5 million building, you think you can buy a $1 or $2 million building once you have this much money in your bank account? Oh yeah. And you can do it with own financing, guys. Now you go in, you cannot depreciate land, but if you spend $2 million on a little building or a little apartment complex, you could go in and take the land value, let's say you call it $250,000, it's $2 million. You still have a $1.7 million tax write-off that you can take as a bonus depreciation over the course of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, or forever, depending how long it takes you to make that much money. If you're offsetting it against your taxes, guys, you can take that entire tax saving, never pay a penny of this in taxes. Now you have an asset It just produces cash flow. Even if you don't even buy it and make a profit on it, and you just keep it and live it and own it for the bankroll, and you have a small asset that produces maybe an extra, after all expenses, $5,000-7,000 a month. How many of you guys would love to be able to offset this, not pay any taxes, own an asset that brings you in between $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month capacity? Okay. How many of you guys want the alternative? You go in, you work a job, and you work for the man for the next 30 years, and you get a pension, Social Security. Do it for 30 years. How many people that work a 30-year career get that 30 years? Anybody? You know, very few. You can do it in 3. One of the biggest things when you guys work in our community, people are running around, they're like, I gotta buy a building. It's almost the end of the year. Like, anybody have a building that I can buy in Texas or wherever they're at? They're like all scrounging. It's funny. This last November, we were sitting back and I told my team, I said, I want you guys to like, take all these text messages in our WhatsApp group, like this community that we built, hundreds of people in it. And when you look at it, people are sitting back at the end of the year trying to figure out how they're going to deploy their money. So taxes for the calendar. How many people think that's true? Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, this all sounds fine and dandy, but here's the thing, guys. How many people really would need help doing this? Yeah, like how many people think, okay, Jerome, give us all the information today, you guys are going to leave here and go execute. If one person in this whole room can do it, I'd be surprised, right? So you're going to need help. You agree with that? Yeah, you guys need help. Now look, here's the thing. Let's talk about what you guys are going to need. Okay, you guys tell me. Okay. We talked about a spreadsheet, right? You think that can help you guys? How many of you guys utilize an Excel spreadsheet that breaks it down for you guys in sequential order? How many of you guys would use that? Okay, so we'll do, let's call it our underwriting spreadsheet. Okay, so let's do other. Okay, what else are you guys gonna need? What else are you guys gonna need? You guys gonna need contacts? Okay, what else are you gonna need? How are you gonna find contacts then, guys? How are you gonna find contacts? Okay. It'd be easier if you guys had a community that supported you guys. Yeah, people that are already here, you're doing what you guys are trying to do. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be a lot easier, right? To find architects, contractors, loans, lenders, stuff like that. You're gonna need a community, right? You guys are gonna need help from a community. Okay, how are you guys gonna find your land? How are you gonna know that you're in the right area? That's found the right piece of land. How many of you guys are a little bit worried about it? Anybody? Yeah. I mean, I'd be worried about it, you know? So what if, so you guys need to find the land. So you guys need to build a land finder. Okay. So you guys are gonna need educational material, right, that supports this? Yeah?
Yes.
Educational material that you guys can reference, cross-reference, go back to. Yeah? How about money, financing? Yeah?
The most.
Yeah. Now this right here, and then how about just like, not even just the community, but how about personal support? How about like personal support?
That was there.
If you guys have like good spouses, how many of you guys go home and like you guys go to your spouse? Like I always check stuff with my wife. I'll be like, hey, look, we're doing this, this, and this. And even if she doesn't know about something, you know what's cool about having a good spouse is that when you guys go in, you talk to a good spouse and you sit down with them, you guys can go in and vet stuff off each other. Yeah.
Yep.
When you have good support, it's priceless, is it not?
Yeah.
Priceless, guys. And so just having somebody that's supporting you is in itself is priceless. Now look, guys, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Dig in. Where can you go out and where do you find all this? Is the question. Where do you find all this? You guys want to know why I do this? Some of you guys are saying back, well, why does he even do this education stuff? I talked about it with Josh for lunch today. Josh works with me. The education business, guys, is the stupidest friggin' business in the whole friggin' world. There's no friggin' money. No friggin' money in this business, guys. It's stupid. But you know what I do get from it? I get investors that come in, and I get I get deal. So like, if in here today, I find one project in here from somebody that learns my business model, and they follow that business model, my whole trip here was worth it. Because I just need one deal right here. Okay, if I find one investor to invest in my West Camelback project or my Rio Rancho project, it's worth it. Because I found one more person that I wouldn't have found coming here, right? Like Diana sitting back there. Diana, raise your hand. She's one of my business partners in my West Camelback, my ECOP 150 project in Rio Rancho. She lives here in Dallas. She's been down to Albuquerque 2 times to go look at the Rio Rancho project, and she owns 10% of a $30+ million project. How many people would love to own 10% of a $30+ million project? With no money out of pocket. No money, zero money out of pocket. How many people would like that? Yeah, right. You just have to learn, right? She's a hard ass worker, and one of the things that she does is like she went all over the country with us. She's part of our educational program. I learned how good she was by her being a part of our community, and I saw value in her. And so, and we were all over flying all over the country at different meetups and stuff. She's with her laptop at 11 o'clock at night. We're sitting back, going through pitch decks and putting financials together. They're running around meeting with lenders and different stuff. Where I don't even have to hire employees, I give them some equity in a deal, and I find great partners, guys. That's what we're doing, guys. So the education, there's no money, it sucks, guys. But you guys have to invest to be able to do it, like in yourselves. How many of you guys think that if you guys came in and you guys got the support, that how many of you guys think that I should just educate you guys for free? Now the business I have to pay all my employees. How many of you guys think I should do that? Or how many of you think that these guys that work with us and that are in here? How many of you guys are willing to invest not $111,000 to come in and invest in a 4-year degree? How would you guys invest in yourselves? If you guys knew you guys could make that work, you guys had all of these resources. How much did you guys invest in yourselves to have all of that? What would it be worth to you?
If you're making $100K this year, at least 5 to
Okay, so $5,000 to $10,000. Who else? How much would it be worth to you? A lot, right? I paid $111,000 to pay college. I mean, yeah, right. Would you not? Yeah. I mean, think about it, man. I mean, because if you got a 100% return on investment, it cost you $160,000. You got a 100% return on investment on your first bill. Would it be worth it?
Yeah.
Would it? Because then the rest after that is what? It's profit, right? Would it be worth it? Hey, the good news is it doesn't. We're not looking at doing that. How many of you guys would like to come and do a meetup like this? Where I do something like this, we take just the best of you guys. Just the best of you guys. You guys spend an entire day with me and my team and a few of my contacts. Some of you guys would love to just come and spend one full day with me. Okay? So you guys, what we're gonna do in June is I'm going around the country right now. Usually I do these to come in and fill seats in my events. I don't have an event. We're not gonna do an event for a little while because there are a lot of friggin' work costs, not friggin' money. Last event cost almost $1 million to put on. We had like 800 people. They're awesome because they're great for you guys. They're a lot of work for us. I'm just too damn busy right now. I have too much projects coming. So if we're lucky to get an event maybe next spring, we'll do it. But in June, I'm going to hold a small meetup with about 100 people from here in Dallas, people from LA, a few people. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but it'll be regional specific. You guys right here. They come spend a day with higher level investors and higher level people, just like you. They come in and you guys get to spend an entire day with them. How much would you spend? How much you invest in yourself to do that? And I'm still getting these resources. How much?
with the day, $30,000.
$30,000. So we that's like our highest. That's like that's what feels well investment. I'll take it $30,000. I can find a great place for that.
Still flip with them.
But he's right, man. I mean, really, guys, like, is it not worth it? I mean, is it not worth it? And think about it, guys. Like, you come in and spend a full day around people that are the highest and the best of all the people that are in here right now. We section you guys out. And then we go in and we bring 5 other cities of the best of those cities to put in the exact same room. And we work with each other for an entire day. And not only that, you guys were able to go in and get like a full strategy call. You guys get like a full call, a full strategy call. You guys get the personal support, you guys get some underwriting, the community. Okay, now, before I tell you guys what the investment is for this, guys, I'm gonna look today, I'm looking for really like 4 or 5 people only to come in with us. To come in and really work with us and spend, and here's the thing, guys, our high-end people that come in our inner circle, they work with us indefinitely. Once you come in and work with us, and you work with us in our inner circle for our buy land build house course, it's a one-time investment, and you guys are in as long as the program lasts. And so if God gives me the ability to run the program for the next 5 years, 7 years, you guys are in part. We won't ever have you guys come back in and have you guys have mule fees or anything. Pace Morby and I talked about this. So Pace and I did this at the exact same time. So when Pace came in, he goes, I said, bro, renewals are bullshit. He goes, it's about the community. And I said, yeah. So Pace and I was off the airport one day, Pace and I were on the phone for about an hour and a half. And we were describing what we needed to do like with our community. And so one of the things that Pace and I decided to do is said, fuck renewals, like screw all that bullshit. You know, like once we bring you guys in, we want you guys in forever because you know how hard it is for me to get you guys in these seats. You know how hard it is for us to market and put you guys in the seats too. I'll make nothing today, but I spent several thousands of dollars in marketing to get you guys in these seats. I paid $1,000 to pay for this room, right? But the thing is I'll find good people in my community that'll come in and we'll get deal. So I've already invested in you guys to be here today. How many of you guys feel like you guys are, I've already invested for you guys to be here, took an investment out of me. I saw in you guys before I could view you. How many of you guys think that you guys are worth investing? Okay. So look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for just 5 people to come in on a higher level that want to accelerate their themselves a bit. I'm going to spend 20 minutes. You want to come up here, John? I'm going to spend 20 minutes with each one of those people on the phone. I don't typically do this. The rest of the people in our community, I've never given them a 20-minute call. Okay? And what I'm going to do in that 20-minute call with you guys, I'm going to find out exactly where you live. I'm going to find out. I'm not going to talk to you about your family. I'm not going to build rapport with you guys. Not that I don't care, but I don't care. Okay? Truth be told. Okay? Not that I don't care, but I don't care. And the reason why, guys, is because